Welcome to this lesson on writing one-step equations. Today we're going to talk about creating equations from word problems. Alright, so the first is first. You've got to go through and you've got to find the important information in the problem and what it's asking you. So in this case, we're looking at, on Thursday, Haley had $153.76 saved in her bank account. She spent the weekend shoveling snow and now has $203.76 in her account. So looking at this, it asks us to write an equation. It's important to note that it's an equation. So the difference between an expression and an equation. Now we have an answer. So we have something where we're doing work on this side, and we have an equal side, and we have an answer. So that's the difference between the expression and the equation. And we'll get more into detail with that when we're talking about solving equations. So when we look at equations, we have to know where did we start and where did we finish. So we'll keep that in mind as we're going. Write an equation to demonstrate the situation below. So we're demonstrating what's going on here. So it's important to note that she had $153.76, and that was on Thursday. Then she spent the weekend shoveling snow and now has $203.76 in her account. So that's now. So what we want to look at here is the operation word. Now I know we see the word spent, but she spent the weekend, so we're talking about money. So we're looking at she started here and she ended here. So we have to look at this and imply that if she spent the weekend shoveling snow, that money got added to her account, that she did work. There's not a particular word in here that says you're going to add. Right? So sometimes you just have to note that if she did work and her bank account went up, that it's an addition problem. Okay, so what don't I know? I don't know how much money Haley earned shoveling snow. So how am I going to represent this? I'm going to allow this, and I'm actually going to copy and paste because if I don't, this could take us a lot longer. And I am going to set this equal to E for earned. Again, you can have whatever you want, but in this case, we need to make sure that it's equal to how much Haley earned. Okay, and what operations am I going to use? I'm going to add. Now, the key part here is where. Okay, I'm going to add, and we have to think of where did she start and where did she end. So she started with $153.76. Oops, not 15, 153. And she ended with $203.76. So this is what I'm adding to. Okay, and what am I adding to this? I don't know, but I do know that I have to take whatever she started with, add what she earned, so where did she start, plus what did she earn, and that should give me her current total. And it's always a good idea, especially with equations, now that we're getting to this point, just to write a short statement out in words. And the first thing here should always be start, your operation, and then what you're doing with that, and then what it's supposed to be equal to. So in this case, we know she started with $153.76 plus what she earned. Well, we know that that's the unknown for us, so that's going to be plus E, is equal to her current total of $203.76. So our equation is $153.76 plus E is equal to $203.76. Okay, so if you'd like to, I want you to take an opportunity to try this one on your own. Again, remember, you're not answering it. I don't want a solution. We're just using this opportunity to practice writing equations, because this is one of the trickiest parts when it comes to word problems, expressions, and equations, is actually writing it. All right, so we're going to go through and we're going to look for the question: how many books did he buy at the yard sale? So how many books did he buy at the yard sale? That's the question. Now I know based on my instructions from before that I just want to write an equation for this. So what we're saying here is that you're writing an equation that should demonstrate how many books he bought at the yard sale. So what don't I know? I don't know how many books he bought at the yard sale. Now I'm doing this part before I do the rest of my QBs because we're going to talk about important information and not important information. Okay? The only reason I know that I don't know this part is because that's my question. So if I go through here and I look and it says Dan has 22 books and 44 magazines in his library. He bought several books at a yard sale over the weekend. He now has 92 books in his library. Typically as students what we like to do is go through and say, ooh, here's a number. Ooh, here's a number. Ooh, here's a number, and we just box them. But let's look at what's actually important here. We want to know how many books he bought at the yard sale. So Dan has 22 books. That's important. And 44 magazines. Well, are the magazines important to us if we're just talking about books? In this case, it's fluff information, so we have to eliminate the 44 magazines. He bought, so bought would be our operation word that tells us that we're adding to the total several books at a yard sale over the weekend. He now has 92 books in his library. Okay, so again, finding that unimportant information, crossing it out, and moving along to find the rest of your important information. This is why I tell you to read and find the question first, because had I gone through and just done this as it is, I would have boxed every single number and not known that 44 was completely irrelevant. So find the question first, look for important words. So like here, the label was books. So anything that doesn't have to do with books, that should be a heads up to look and see, is it really important? Okay, so how are we going to represent that? Well, I am going to take this, and it is going to be represented by B for books. What operation am I going to use? Addition. Where did he start? And I know it's addition because bought told me that we were adding to his total. He started with 22 books and he ended with 92 books. And I want you guys doing this every time. So if he started with 22 books, I know that I have to do my start. I'm adding to my start, and I'm adding what he purchased, and it should give me his current total. So in this case, my equation would be 22 plus B, because we don't know how many he purchased, equals 92. Right, so you have one problem here that you need to do, and I am going to give you a heads up that this should be a multiplication problem. This one's going to be a little bit tough, and make sure that you remember to put down where did you start and what you end with. And as always, if you have any questions, be sure to email me or write them down so we can go over them in class.